the problem of democracy is very simple. Everybody today, every politician today says that his country, or politician in power, says that his country is democratic. However, for every country in the world, virtually every country in the world, there are people who say it's not democratic. There are people inside the country and there are people in other countries who will say about any country in the world it is not democratic. So obviously there's a disagreement on what the word means in the first place. Literally, democracy means rule of the people. But there's no consensus about what it means to rule, and there's no consensus about who are the people.
I'm John Wayne. Is there any better or equal hope in the world, Lincoln asked, than the ultimate justice of the people? We Americans believe there is not. The stonework of our national life is made of this belief. We believe in many things, but this belief that man is a responsible being bears out our own unique stamp as a nation.
As a people, we are active and often noisy. We are industrious, oftentimes to the bafflement of ourselves and our friends. We relax as hard as we work. We are proud. We are sentimental. Beauty is of national concern to us. For some of us, its pursuit is a deadly serious pastime. The rest of us simply enjoy the results. Some of our national spirit shows up in the monuments we erect, the large ones and the small ones. It rings through the music which animates us. Some difference of feeling. At other times we are united. We are all these things and many more, but above everything else we are free. We believe in the ultimate justice which we as free men can create.
Our heritage of freedom is our most priceless possession. Men before us have died to keep it alive, and men in our times have done the same. But although men have died to preserve it, and may die again, the glory of this heritage is the vision of life that it has given us. A life of dignity and nobility of spirit, such as men have never before been enriched by in the long march through the history they have recorded.
There is a phrase which recurs in our national documents, the literature of our story as a people, which points to the source of our belief in individual freedom, and defines perhaps better than any other the nub of the conflict between the opposing systems of values which sweep the world today. That phrase is, this nation under God. That phrase is, this nation under God. This nation under God. That phrase and others like it set the standard of our concept of man.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you, good night, and God bless America.
ночных часов, твой часов. Ты звал меня на ужин, я пришел, а ты готов. Находилась ночь, нет ответа, нет ответа, тишина. Слышны пальцы, страшно в жар рассвета, слуги спят, и ночь бледна. В пышной спальне, холодно и странно, в пышной спальне ночь мутна. Дева света, где ты, Донна? Анна, Анна, Анна. Тишина, только в грозном утреннем тумане бьют часы в последний раз. Донна, Анна, смертный покой, танец, Анна, танец, смертный час.
In the future days, if we seek to make the cure, we look forward to a world founded upon 4 essential human freedoms. The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. The third, freedom from want, which translated into world terms means economic understanding which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated into world terms means a worldwide reduction of armament to such a point and in such a thorough fashion that no nation will be in a position to commit an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world. That is no vision of a distant millennium. It is a definite basis for a kind of world attainable in our own time and generation. That kind of world is the very antithesis of the so-called new order of tyranny which the dictators seek to create with the crash of a bomb. To that new order, we oppose the greater conception, the moral order. A good society is able to face schemes of world domination and foreign revolutions alike without fear. Since the beginning of our American history, we have been engaged in change, in a perpetual, peaceful revolution, a revolution which goes on steadily, quietly, adjusting itself to changing conditions, without the concentration camp or the quicklime in the ditch.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment. Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
My last picture, political picture, Redacted, was not received well in my country because I was criticizing our foreign policy and the fact of what the hell were we doing in Iraq. And these terrible things happen when you put these young boys in these worlds where they don't understand what they're fighting for or why they're there. You can never say anything negative about the troops, even though they're over in a country they shouldn't be doing things where a lot of innocent civilians are getting killed. They're all valiant warriors. Well, I think our foreign policy is incorrect. I don't think we should have been in Iraq at all. I think we were lied to by our government. And what happens when you put young boys in situations where they don't know why they're there, that we are repeated over and over again that, you know, sort of create this atmosphere. One is, America is the greatest nation in the world. I don't know how many times I've heard that. Why are we all over the world? Why are we in countries, we have, military presence all over the world? Why? Because we're the policemen of the world? Who decided this? Planes, guns, rockets, missiles to all these countries all over the world. So, that's one of our biggest industries. It's our biggest export. Defense.